I know my last video I did, it was supporting resistance, but I didn't actually get to go through everything that I wanted to go through. I kind of lost track of time. I lost track of thought at the time, but it's all good. It's all good. This is going to be a nice one, and I'm actually really excited to do this one because I actually need to do this. I've been saying that I need to do this on my chart so I can be more prepared. So just going from scratch, I'm gonna start from where I started last time, which was plotting my support and resistance lines. I'm not too sure. I think I did do it on the daily last time. So what I want to do, I'm gonna mark them, take these off. I'm just gonna go through and mark off all my support and resistance lines that are like nearby. And I say nearby, like pretty relative, like pretty close. So this is gonna be one. It's another one. I would say like right here where we are now is pretty significant. This very low point right here, or maybe these few lows. So these are like significant areas of structure that is approaching. As you can see right now, currently in time, we are right at another support area. So I'm expecting a drop. I actually am expecting a drop within this area. That's exactly why I came and I needed to like mark these off so I can already be ready for it. So that's on the weekly. Got my white line spotted. Now I'm gonna go down to the daily and I'm gonna do it again where they're a little closer. I'm still supposed to do it on line chart, but I can do it on candlesticks too. Because you can just tell where you have like nice areas of rejection. It's still the same thing. Make this dashed down here. This is another daily level. Down here will be pretty nice. Up here, not too much. That'll actually be it. That'll actually be it. So what I want to go through is, I know last time I went through support and resistance lines and I was going to talk about zones, but I didn't get to mention it. So that's pretty much what I want to go over, these zones. Now let's say I'm actually going to use the replay. I haven't used this in a long, long time. So you got right here, right? So you see we've been going up this whole time. Assume this is like June. Assume this is like mid-June. And we've been going up this whole time. So you see that we came up, we made a high, lower high, came all the way up here, made a new high, made like a somewhat lower high, then we came up again. Now it would definitely be wise, or definitely be smart to try to get in on these pullbacks at significant structure levels. This being a significant structure level, because this is a daily support line. So let's just say the bottom of this candle, which would be the open of this candle, you can have it down here. You can just say that maybe like this general area right here. Support and resistance. And then the same thing for down here. These will be zones, because once you actually get in on the smaller time frames, you can see these zones better. Assume that you didn't have like the actual line right here. This would be a whole zone. And if you run that zone back in time, along with the support and resistance lines, you can see just how much rejection zones tell you a better story than actual support and resistance lines. So you see prices coming down, rejection off that little zone, came in here. Once it comes into the support and resistance zone that it just bounced from, then you can expect some type of reaction again, which is exactly what we got. This is where we get like deep into the markets. You see this bounce right here. Now right here, when it came back to it, it bounced again, but just with a small little green doji candle. And then it continued this move into this area. Now when it actually came down to the line, it kind of like bounced around. It bounced around a little bit when it came into this line, but you see the rejection that it gave when it came back out. It came back up top here. It hit this next support line, support resistance line, fell its way back down. When it came to this significant structure, you see this one little candle that just stands out. Went through real quick. Nice little retest. Fell down again. Broke this next level. It came in here again. Now it broke through it, but you see that eventually it came right back about and just went right back up. Came right back into the zone again. So in these zones, these are good to tell when you'll probably see like another reaction. So came into the zone, react out. Came to the zone again, react out. Came to the zone again, reacted out. From right here when we was in the zone, if you do it exactly from the weekly line, which is this thick white line in between everything, if you took that move up, that was like a 172 pip move. When it came back down to it again, when it started taking off, this is actually candlestick formation right here. When it started taking off, 180 pips, and then it came back into the area again. It played around for a little bit, but when it was ready to move, you see the break and retest. You see it broke the support line. It bounced off this daily line, came back to the zone, and then took off again for its actual move. So that's why I'm saying these zones are like really good to actually have an idea where you want to go. So this move, we're in the uptrend, obviously, because we're going up. Let me draw the line. Trend line, we working our way up, just like that. Or it'll be better if I put it over here. Yep. So assuming, like just following general market structure, you know we go up, we go down, we go up. I don't know if you can really see it. Hopefully you can. Up, down, up. So this whole move, it looks like we've been going up. So you can expect for the next move to actually be like a down move somewhere before we move up again. And that now, remember, these pullbacks, they can happen anywhere. You just have to go by your best judgment. It could go down here and then bounce up, or it could go down here and then bounce up. But just by going off of where we are now, it would make sense for it to bounce off this one first and then give at least some type of move up before we even think about coming back down here. So just on the general trading basis, like this would be a nice area. So this would be a nice zone. You watch how this plays out. You see how it came back to the area a little bit. Floated around. What's it gonna do? It started making like slow up moves before it hit the next level again. So that's a nice trade for somebody to really take. If you drew the zone not sharply, you could have got in right. You can maybe had a buy limit set like directly at this line. Move your stop loss in to like right here at the bottom of that zone. That's about like a 40 pip stop loss. And then you take it up to the next line, to the next level, 281 pips. I mean, like it just makes sense. Like just having that zone plotted. Now let's go down to smaller time frames. This is why I like the zones particularly, because the zones help me identify a particular area of where I need to be paying attention to. As a swing trader, I don't really have too much time to really look at the charts. All I have to do is really just plot my areas, plot my zones like so. And then once it's into my zones, then that's when I need to start like really paying attention. So the hardest thing for me is making these zones. So that's kind of why I'm here today, to really just like plot out a couple of zones to see how they playing out. The higher the time frame, the better. So you see on this 4 hour, we was actually working our way down. This was the up move that we came from. And then we had one more big push up. Come down. Let me draw the trend line real quick. because I want to show how price is like really flowing exactly from this area, from this last little line of support. This would be daily support. So we had an up move, we had a pullback, we had another up move again, slight little consolidation. Then we pulled up again, and we consolidated for a long time. That's a lot of consolidation on the 4 hour. And then we eventually made a down move. Quick little pullback. We broke structure. What I mean by broke structure is because this was the low. You see, we made this high, we made this low. This was the low, so this was like the last little piece of structure that it came to before it actually broke. So now that it broke, you can expect another down move. It did break this upside structure right here, but it didn't break this big structure. That's where you get too deep. That's where you get really deep into it. Just understanding like what levels you're actually on. It broke this small little level, but it didn't break this one. So I'm still bearish. So expect another pull down, especially when it gets into this area, this support and resistance zone. Let's definitely pay attention to. It came back out again. It came back and hit the support line. Then like that could have been a nice entry. It came back out real quick. It retested again, poked right through real quick. It technically did break this low, but it came all the way back up. Did make another low again. And it's especially when it's coming out of the zone. Especially when it's coming out of the zone. Now it's starting to like slowly work its way up. You see how many times it came, like it was slowly, basically it was leaving. It was leaving out of this support and resistance zone, working its way up, working its way up, working its way up, until it eventually made its up move. And that support and resistance zone, it helps you a lot in determining your actual move. Zoom out, zoom out. Now you go down to the 1 hour, which is what a lot of people like generally look at in this area. And you can pretty much see what's going on. It's easy to tell when you're back testing. It's hard to tell when you're live in the chart, because when you're back testing, you already know the move that's coming ahead, but you're just like trying to see how this move developed. So we got this uptrend right here, and this was actually about 24 hours. So we was in a 24-hour uptrend, and then we came back down for a little bit and consolidated for a long time. But then we made another up move, but consolidate. We worked our way up, but still consolidated. So for zones, I'm gonna just mix something up real quick. For zones, let's say this low right here, this low is low, all the way up here to that high. And I'm gonna mark this off as like purple or something, because this is actually a very significant area, because you see how it's kind of like slowly working its way up. Nice little consolidation, but it's still working its way up at the same time too. So it's a lot going on right there in just that area. Point is, expect for that area, expect for it to come back to the area sometime. So I'm gonna put this ray on the bottom right here, assuming this would be like the bottom of the area. And you can already see like this next candle, it slightly came back to the area and then ran. And it came back up to the area again and then ran. And judging by these lines, we're in a downtrend. So it gave you 2 times to get in on the structure, because this is significant structure where it was just going sideways. And then it came back to it, took off to this support. Came back up right here to this little structure, took back down again to support. And then it floated its way. It just floated its way into support until it was ready to go up again. I know that's a lot. That was just a lot for me. I think it's because I'm actually in chart mode right now. It is 2 a.m. London session, but I'm not looking forward to any trades myself. I'm just really looking forward to getting these charts marked up. So What's live is that from this significant structure all the way down here to this significant support resistance zone, it's about 100 pips. And then it worked its way up again for another 100 pips. And then it worked its way down again for about 90 pips until he eventually scooted his way in and then took off to the upside. So it's not always gonna be perfect, but just by going off of this, just by going off of structure, that is really clean. I didn't even know Euro USD was really moving like that. And all pairs really they are moving these significant structures. If you want to go back in time, you can still see that it's doing the same thing, like back in time. You see, it came up to this little support right here. It started working its way down. It retested a couple of times before it came back to it. Then worked its way up again, and then it came back to the next one, and it broke through again, and until eventually it broke through the next one. And then after it broke through this next one, it came back up to the top one. If it comes back up to the top one, I can expect it to go back down, and it did. It came back up here. It came back up here again. It fell to this structure. It broke, came to this next structure, and then it went from the structure all the way back up to the top, and then it just fell all the way back down. You're not going to know, that's one thing I had to get over myself. You're not going to know exactly when it's going to make its next move or where it's going to make its next move to, because this is a daily time frame. I know I just ran through it, just boom, boom, bam. But when you're actually live in the charts, we're right now, we're technically still sitting up here. We're technically still sitting up here from where I looked at earlier. Matter of fact, let me go in. What's going on? It looked like it actually cleared some highs, and it's making a down move that I was expecting. But this move is already, I think it's already 10 pips off. It's all good, honestly. I didn't expect no moves. I didn't expect no moves like this to happen on a Monday. It's all good. I do not jump into a trade. If I missed it, then I missed it. It's all good. And I actually didn't expect for it to act that fast. Let me look at GU real quick. No, sir. I don't know why GU looks like that. This is the wrong one. Okay, so this GU. I actually got mine coming back up to this strong little level of support resistance. So mine didn't come all the way back up here. So I'm not really gonna worry about Euro USD. But that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story for a different day. So mission complete on this one. Let me clean up real quick. Wow, I got a lot. But yeah, now that I got these support and resistance lines plotted on Euro USD, because I'm actually working on something. I'm just trying to make it easy to where if I already have a chart marked off, then when somebody else drops a chart, at least I already have a certain bias on it. There's been a couple of trades that I actually capitalized off of because somebody might have dropped a trade and the trade ended up going bad, but by the time I looked at it, it actually went into my exact area that I was looking for. So just knowing if I have my charts already ready, then I can already be ready to capitalize. All right, so your USD is good. I don't know why GBP USD is looking like that. No, wrong one. GBP USD. All right, so GBP USD. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. That way, I already have my charts marked off. So all I need to do is just come on and just act. So line chart. So this is a strong area up top. See how many times it came back and rejected. Come down here. This is a strong area. Come down here. This is a strong area, and it's currently in the area right now. And this is a strong area, and this will probably be the last strong area. Head down to the daily. Get the diagnose. Go back. That's cool. Come up here. This is a strong area. Throw the dotted line. This is a strong area. This down here is a strong area. And these down here will be strong areas. All right. So now let me jump to UJ. UJ would be the same thing. This would be a strong area. This will be a strong area. This is significantly strong. This is strong area. Go down to the daily. This is a strong area. Yes, that's a strong area. That's a strong area, which it is currently playing around right now. This is a strong area. That was UJ. So now we're on U Chef. I didn't even say I was gonna make this video long. I know it's gonna be long. Hold on. Strong area. Strong area. Strong area. Strong area, which is playing around right now. I'll jump down to the daily. Oh man. Okay. Strong area. And the reason why I'm taking my time with this whole time is because I've been doing this lately on a couple of charts and it's been paying off. Like it's actually taking my trade. My trading has actually been going through the roof lately. And just by following these patterns and these things, just by following these patterns and these moves, why do it look like that? Oh no. I'm actually gonna skip USD CAD. I'm gonna come back to it. AUD USD. I'm gonna do it the same thing all over again. So it's like a significant area. So a lot of these are at significant areas, which is really interesting to me. I missed the in February when we had the crash and everything. I actually missed a lot of sales and a lot of buys because I was not prepared. So while I'm doing this is so that way I can be prepared for another grand tastic big move. I would hate to miss another big move again, just because I'm not ready. So the top of this area is pretty significant. Make it dotted. This is a significant area. Now, it's a significant area if you want to throw in the actual like reversal patterns. This is located head and shoulders, head, come back, shoulder again, retest that shoulder real quick, then take off to the upside. Like if you want to throw the candles on here, it's kind of sort of that. It's kind of sort of that. You can tell by where it closed, and then it started working its way up. So, yeah, that's AUD. NZDs. Significant. Somewhat significant. All right. So we got significant. We got significant. So we're playing around in this area, and I like this because this is exactly what I'm expecting from NZD USD for it to come up a little bit and then make that aggressive move down. For AUD, it's kind of somewhat similar. So now let me go back to USD CAD. USD CAD. Come on. All right, USD CAD. So we got significant level. Boom, 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 boom. All right, I dip down to the daily. Got this up here. This is significant. This is very, very significant. This is also what I'm looking at currently. And this is significant. Now, so I got all these marked off. The daily, the weekly, perspective. So we got it marked up on the weekly. I see all my important areas. Got it marked up on the daily. I see all my important areas. For GBP USD, what I'm actually expecting is currently where it's at right now. So the whole top of this candle, because I'm including this candle because I like how it came up here. It's a candlestick formation. It came up here, so I'm gonna mark off like the top, and then I would probably say like maybe like the bottom, like right here. I would say the bottom because that's where the rejection ended. This and then it came back and like tapped it one time again real quick before it ran off. So my prediction, just a quick prediction, it could just come back up, tap this area again before we start hitting to the downside to at least hit this bottom support line. And this is actually like my ideal trade that I'm actually waiting on. I'm not too sure on the buy up, but I do know I want this like buy down to this little area. So we got this short position. Put that out right there. All right, but the stop loss. So this is where we're actually like zooming into the charts. Really like plays the parts. Really like plays the part. I said plays the parts. So that's about like a 500 pip drop. I'm not too much expecting like that whole 500 pips. I actually can, just going by off my risk management. If you just drop like a point oh 0.01 on it and just let it ride, then it should ride down there. But we actually got quite a while before we actually get up to this area. So once we get up to this area, it'll have to play this on the 4-hour chart. So it'll be a little while before we actually squeeze up in there. And a lot of nice areas that I see, it probably could just tap this area one time and then just take off and go down. So just to be ready for that, I would have it like somewhere like down here. And then my stop loss, it wouldn't be so big at all. It would actually be like a 30 pip, maybe like a 35 pip stop loss. This 30 pips, it lines back up right here to this little line. You can't really see it, but to that little line where it came up and tapped again. And if my stop loss get hit, then that's all good. I'm actually gonna look for another sale because once it gets into this area, I'm looking for sales, and that's exactly how I trade. Like I'm a swing trader, so I have to wait for it to get to a certain area. I'm not. I can't jump around too many times, like through all of the day, because I got to work and stuff. So I'm pretty much got to wait for it to get to my area. Man, I can't wait for these trades to play out. Well, I will want to be able to be considered an employee. Matter of fact, let me go to an example of zones that I have marked off. Boom, Euro NZD. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna take off the field. Hold on, bear with the kid. Bear with the kid. All right, so down here in this whole little, it looks like a little pool, somewhat. This little red box down here at the bottom. I actually expect for it to come up down here into this little area and then take off to the upside. So it's a zone within the zone, pretty much. I'm gonna be looking for buys all throughout the zone, but the number one buy that I'd be expecting for is probably like down here, which would probably be like it won't be a crazy risk trade. It would just be like a higher risk. Like instead of me like being a little conservative with it, I actually might be more aggressive with this just because it's in my ideal area. This whole area, this little red box, is about 60 pips. So I'll probably be looking for like 20 for like two 30 pip trades. I mean 30 pip risk trades. I'm sorry. But that whole area, that's a very like wide area of where price can pretty much like come back to. Same thing for AUD NZD. Go back up. This is a nice little zone. It's not rectangular. They don't always have to be perfect, but I just understand that this is a zone where I'm actually looking for a sale. And we got this nice, very great support and resistance zone up top. This zone is marked off because why? IDK. These are old. Gotta go. Gotta go. But it's a pretty common little zone on the weekly. So maybe it could come up to the weekly zone, or maybe just shy of it before we start seeing it down. So that's how zones work. Like zones go a long way when actually looking into them. For this USDJPY, this is also like pretty much the same. It's already playing around in like a daily zone right now. But I actually expect for it to come up to this zone. I'm actually expecting for it to come up to this little zone. And reason being, before we get into the zone, I'm considering the actual market structure of where we are now. This is the low of this trend currently, and this is the high. And remember, you got the low, you got general market structure. Let me stop talking so fast. You got general market structure. You got this low. You work your way up, and now everything in between it is a pullback. Everything in between it is a pullback. So my prediction is I want to come somewhere right here in this area before we take off and go up. But that's a stretch. That's a stretch, but I mean that's just what I'm expecting, honestly. A nice little down move before we can make that general up move. And the main reason I know that is because we marked off these zones. We marked them off on the weekly and on the daily. So we see exactly how it's playing out. This is a nice little line too down here. But if you want to talk about zones, box. Let's say down here, this white line right here. We're gonna say this is a zone, and it's kind of hard to tell right now. We're just gonna say what price is currently, that this is a zone, because this technically is a zone in a sense. So this is on the daily. I might look at a chart on the daily, but I never really take an entry on the daily. I always go in on a smaller time frame, maybe like the 4 hour or so. And if I see something cooking on the 4 hour, then it's definitely interesting to me. So you see we got this zone to zone play. You see right now we're playing in this zone that's currently around support resistance. This bottom zone right here, I like the rejection. I like the rejection a lot of times. So we're going to say that the rejection was like right here. And I did say I want to come down a little bit before the move up. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting, my G. But I wanted to come down a little bit right here, my G. Maybe tap the support and resistance. Maybe tap the support and resistance zone one more time. then work our way up, my G. So draw the ruler. Say it does dip a little bit low real quick, and we work our way up. That's about like a 215 pip move. This is why I got these zones. I'm trying to have these zones. Oops, got to do 20 for the T word. This is why I got to have my zones marked off, so that way I can go ahead and just jump. Like once it gets like low into this area, then once it gets low into this area, then it start. I'm getting tongue tied. Once it gets into this area, it is time to start looking for buys. And I actually have that marked off. I mean, template buy zone, this support and resistance zone. And this the 4 hour. Most traders like to take our trades on the 1 hour or like to take our entries on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is interesting because you can, for me, it's interesting to me because you can just tell like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It's easier on the 1 hour than it is on the 4 hour. So on the 1 hour, we actually have a nice long stretch before we get down to this area. Judging from where we are right now, we're about like almost like 80 pips away from my buy zone. I don't have any sales trade. I don't have any sales right now to look at. But if I do get a sale signal and it's down to my area, then I'm definitely taking it because this is a good area of what I'm paying attention to. So that's UJ. USD Chef. USD Chef. I'm literally going over my strategy and my markups like all at once. So USD Chef, we see we've been working our way down, hitting every little support level, support and resistance level, and just working our way down, working our way down, working our way down. Now we're at a strong level again. What could happen? We could poke down and tap this level before we go up. I'm not too sure. But now that I got my zones marked off my lines, I can be sure. I'm gonna go to the 4 hour. And right now, we pretty much like just tapped the area and we started working our way up. Technically, we're still going down. You gotta go like off of like actual like structure. Because we've been going down this whole time. This would be the lowest low, and then we came back up to this high. This would be the low. This would be the high. And came back up and you played around until you made a new low. And it barely spiked it, but it's still a new low. So move your field back out here. So now we're playing in this little range before we make a new low again. And then this would technically be the lower high. So I will move this right here. So now you can say that we're pretty much like going up to maybe make another low. If we don't make another low, then we're breaking the structure to make a new high. I would like to see it start going up just because it's at like a weekly area. But like I said, we'll just have to see. So would it come with why am I so tongue-tied tonight? There we go. All right, bet. So I do want it to run up to this little area. And just because we got this high, we got this low, we need to pull back up to this little area. Plus, we got this daily support line too. So it's real strong, significant. Now, once we get up here, will we come back to reach? When we come back up here, will we come down to break this new low? Or will we come up to break this high, retest this high, and start working our way up? We don't know, honestly. But I do know that I do want to go up to this little area. Support and resistance zone. So once it comes up to this area, then I'll just see how we'll react. But as far as for any up moves, I don't really trade USD Chef personally, but I do want to mark it off to get ready to see what this move will do. If we get that, if I'll be expecting to sell just to follow structure. But if we get this break up above, start going up, that'll be nice to see too. But if I get a signal to say go up, let's go up there. AUD USD, I'm already in the sale. I was actually in the sale. I actually had the sale marked off on a couple of my calls that I posted on my YouTube like a long time ago. It came up to 70.30 and then it took off and ran. So I would keep expecting sales just because it's at this weekly level 2. And we have never, ever came back down to this low area down here. What I mean by low area, I mean, I got my low down here. I got my high way up here. And I mean, like in between, like we got all these support and resistance lines. But if I just draw it out with a brush, you'll be able to see more clearly. You got this whole up move right here, right? Now, we never came back for a pullback, is what I'm saying. So I'm expecting for this down move to start a pullback. So me personally, I really like the fact that I caught that sale, and it was a nice sale, but I can't get my hopes up too much. Let's just see how that sale like plays out. If it comes back and hit, I actually took it a couple of times on a couple of different accounts. So if it comes back and hits my break even or whatever, I mean, it's all good. I'm gonna just secure whatever partials I can and just let it do its thing. So just by going off of what I said, I'm looking for sales. That doesn't mean I have to stop looking for sales. I can definitely look for more sales. So I'm actually gonna draw a box. I'm gonna make this a green box. 70.30.02. This was about it. So this whole little area right here, and I'm gonna mark this as green, assuming this is the green box from the risk to reward box. What I mean by that, just in case, like, you know, I don't want to confuse anybody. This is the box I'm drawing. I'm drawing this whole little take profit box because this is how my screen is. I project my screen to look right now. So everything in this area is saying that I'm looking for sales to continue going down to the downside. So if I do see any potential sell areas, then I will definitely look into it. Right now, I do see a couple, a little bit near my sell area, but I don't think my sell area will get wicked just by going off of what I've seen. But on the 1 hour, we do still have to. Oh, that's open. On the 1 hour, we do still have to break the structure down here because this is a significant structure down to the low, and this being the high. So everything in here is a pullback, but it's a good area for a pullback. Up move, let's start making our way down. So maybe we'll see like one more move up here, maybe to test this little daily line again before we start making our way down, which look good. That looks very good. I'm not deleting these markups because these are some nice markups. I'll eventually go in and add more confluences, and yeah, we'll see how they go. So yeah, taking that down now. If it does come back up to this area, and then I'll take it down to that to break that low to that next support. That actual trade would be about 170 pips. So why not miss out on it? I already got my chart marked off. I already know how it's gonna look. Boom, boom, bam. NZD USD. I was saying this for NZD because this is kind of like the same thing that I was saying at first. It never came back. It never came back down to this exact area at the bottom. It was right here. We had right here. We had our up move, and we actually had a nice long break consolidation. We consolidated a lot in that area. Another way you can really point out consolidation, because it entered into a zone, if you want to point it out. So I'm gonna draw a line like, oh, that's ugly. I'm gonna draw a line like down here. This would be like the bottom of the area, right? This would be the top of the area, right? You see how it was playing around in this area. So that's a nice consolidation zone. So I'm saying that just going off of natural market structure. We got this up move, we got the sideways motion. Let's start moving down. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to move down for that. USD CAD. USD CAD is pretty similar to UJ. I do want to make that up move back up here. Now, when we say up move, we can look and peep again that this exact area is significant structure. I think going back to whichever path that was I did it on, I think it was GBP. This is structure because you see how many times it just consolidated and just stayed consolidated. So this is support resistance zone. So I mean, like, come on now. We got this daily and this weekly line within the support resistance zone. So once it comes back into the future, somewhere in this area, I want to be looking for a sale. This is a whole weekend. This is a whole weekend outlook. So that's my sales zone, right? Why is it a sales zone? Because I got my high up here. I got my low right here. Now, I do understand right here, too. I do see this. So I do see this. This could be like a bullish motion. So this is looking at structure inside of structure. I'm going to put the blue line on it because I see this like potential buy area. Now, what I'm seeing, I see this up move and this big pullback. That's what I'm seeing. But this pullback, even though it could come up to this area, like, okay, so we got this up move, we got this pullback. Even though it could come back up to this area, I'm still imagining this. This is what I imagine. I imagine for it to come back here to the sell zone, to still complete the rest of this downtrend, and then take off to the upside eventually. Just going off of structure because this is significant structure. I would like to see it come back up here, fall down, and then go back up again. And that's very, that's very like that's a very wide perspective. That's a very far-fetched perspective. I don't even know if that word is good for this. It's good. I don't even know if that word is good for what I just said. But anyway, I need to go to sleep, man. Anyway, let's come back up to this area and then start looking for sales. But before we come back up, I do know that we have the weekly line. I didn't even know this was a weekly line until I plotted it now. But I know I had a buy opportunity somewhere down in this area. So this down here, yeah, I'm gonna say like strongly around this area. I'm gonna say this is my buy zone. And then my arrow. So yeah, I did want to take it up here. Make this awkward. I did want to take it up here. So once it gets into this area, I'll be looking for buys. And then once it gets into that general area, I'll be looking for sales. And then especially if it breaks down here and it comes somewhere into this area, once it comes somewhere into this area, in between these lines, you see the top white support resistance line, you see the bottom white support resistance line, somewhere in that area. Somewhere in the area. Especially if it's acting a lot, like if it's acting like it's want to reject off of this line, I am expecting a nice big move up to continue the uptrend that it already passed at. But like I said, that is a very long-term perspective. But I do trade long-term. I trade long-term because it gives me more time to jump on other charts. So now I did it. I finally did it. I had this on my to-do list forever. I had this on my to-do list for a long time. So Euro USD. I see a drop coming, but since it already made this move, it already made the 10 pip move actually. That 10 pip move, I'm not gonna worry about it because for me, let me see. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. For me, for the way I trade, I like a super aggressive move like you see down here, where it was the super aggressive move up. This isn't so aggressive. This actually tells me that we came up, we came back down real quick, and then we kind of like started trying to work our way up again. If I go down to the 5 minute, you can kind of sort of see it again. But like I said, like just gonna look into it and just see what to do for real. So now that I got my zones already marked off, I see where I'm heading for Euro USD. I'm looking for sales, so I'm looking for down into this area. For GBP, this is a trade. Like these are trades that I'm actually looking for. GBP, I'm actually waiting for this up move and then to make that move down. UJ, I want this little down move to make a move up. USD Chef, the only thing I can see is an up move. I'm not too sure how it would act in these areas. AUD USD, I'm in a sell already, but I would love for that sell to continue down. I might see a nice little area up here where I can look for more sales. But I don't think this area will break. If this area does break, then we're just not ready for a sale just yet. So we'll just see. NZD, I'm expecting a sale, but I'm not too ready for a sale just yet. I actually have to dig into my charts to mark them off and get them ready. And USD CAD, I want that down move for that up move. I want that. Yeah, I want the down move for the up move, for the down move, for the up move. And yeah, that's what I'm expecting. If we go back up to the top, I mean, I already had these areas kind of sort of marked off. These are different charts, but like the ideas, see, I already had these ideas set. This is a bigger area on USD Chef, so I did expect for it to come up here. Ooh, go back. USD CAD, same thing. I wanted it to break down and then take off to the upside. UJ, I want to come down to this little orange zone. It then take off to the upside. Now I drew these like about a week ago, so I have to like actually remember. Now this is the chart that I've been drawing on USD on AUD for the longest, and I said this low up here, and I came up to this high. The same thing for kind of sort of for USD CAD, but except I want this down move for it to go up. For USD CAD, I'm waiting for up move to go down, but AUD USD, I'm already in my move. I understand it's in a nice support and resistance zone. So if it does come back and hit this line, then it might come up just a little bit more, which is cool. I ain't tripping too hard. NZD USD, I was waiting for a sale, and I'm still technically in my sale zone. I'm still technically in my sale zone, so that's interesting to see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Ran through another call. This call helped me. I hope when I post it on YouTube, it helped you or whoever's watching this, because this call was definitely fire. And I just made my setups for the week and for next week. Have a good week in the markets. Happy trading. Take that last part out.